And it's showtime. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's 9 p.m. in Poland in European Central Time. Should be 8 p.m. in London, and I believe it should be 2 p.m. in 3 p.m. in New York. And I'm live today with the one and only Saint Murad, who, as you all may know, has spent the last 2 years, was it Murad, or 3 years?
No, it's close to 5.
Oh
It's
my
over
God,
4.
over 4 years writing a new Quran translation from the Arabic from scratch, and he's discovered the most amazing discrepancies between the English translations, even the Arabic translations, and the original source text from the Hafs. So, yeah, Murad, thank you for being with me today. Great to have you. Yeah, make a brief introduction of yourself, your channel, and your work, because I think we all know you from mostly your discussions with Mel.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, Lloyd. This is the very first time to be on your channel. Actually, I just want to briefly say how I got into translating the Quran because it's kind of funny. When I first started making videos with Mel, I said, let's just quote an English version of the Quran. Anything will do. It will be close to correct. It doesn't have to be perfect. But then I found that this is not the Quran, this is a joke. So
Right.
I started to translate just the verses that I want to discuss in the video. And then as time went on, I said, you know what? I have to translate this, uh, a totally new translation, but based on a concordance and not just translating from Surah 1 all the way to the end, because this is the usual translation, which makes it very inconsistent as any Quran translation. So as I kept going on, I looked at Quran translations just out of curiosity. Then I found that these people they are lying to their teeth and they do not respect the English speaker whatsoever. So it's not that the Quran is just based on the sin, which is standard Islamic narrative, which we now know
Murad, look,
has.
Islam is the religion of truth. How can you say that? And besides, I mean, I don't speak Arabic. You speak Arabic, but of course, I've actually heard Muslim apologists say, no, but you're a dirty Arab if you speak Arabic.
There is one person who said, I hate when Arabs say they translate the Quran as if being a native Arabic speaker is a qualification. I tell him, well, that's what you always tell the Christians. You tell them you don't know Arabic. Now I know. Now you throw me under the bus. Of course, it's a qualification. You don't know Arabic. You see?
Fair
So that's the
enough. Fair
problem.
enough. Yeah. Do you think have you had any people are aware that you're starting to come out with this? Have you had any sort of A, positive interest, or B, negative pushback? Do you think anyone's preparing the ground for this? Are they are you making waves? Are people nervous about this pending translation?
Yeah, some people actually made an attack on my channel. That's why I made all the videos private because I didn't really. I thought because I have a small channel, I thought this is never gonna happen. And sometimes I get very mean comments. And actually, some people tell me, Murad, you make the Quran a little bit more humane, and this is bad. I tell them, well, I just try to find the truth, and the Quran that I'm translating will get you the most primitive meaning before it gets the sin, sin, standard Islamic superimposition over it. So that's the idea. And as I show you in this presentation, you will see a lot of things that are sin based that are taken for granted, but they're not in the Arabic, they are not linguistic, they're not based on the linguistic basis of Arabic. You see?
Yeah, you're using the Hafs translation, correct?
Yeah, as it's the most popular, so I just used the Hafs and I didn't look at the other qira'at. I just
Yeah.
focused
In
on the
fact,
Hafs.
Hafs is not even a qira'at. It's a rawaya. It's a transmission. It's not even one of the 10 qira'at. He's a student of one of the qira'at readers.
You know what does riwaya mean? It means narration, not transmission. but they
Oh
put it
my,
as
are you
transmission. Yeah.
serious?
Yes. Rawi is the one who makes a narration for a documentary, for example.
That's like you're
Rawa, he
paraphrasing.
narrated. Exactly. That's
Oh
why in
wow.
my translation I have it as narrated as Hafs through Asim. This is how it's written.
And then also Hafs, I think few people are aware. Hafs became popular for various reasons. I'll cover that on Saturday with Thunderous on my channel, where I finished my story in the Kira art. But Hafs became the standard. And Al Azhar University, at the behest of, I think, King Fuad, created the Hafs
Fuad,
Quran because,
yeah,
yeah, Fuad, right?
Fuad,
Be-
the second, I think, yeah, of
Yeah,
Egypt.
because in university and schools they were doing Quran recitations, and students would have completely different verses. They would have completely different verse numbers. There would be conflict between these different Qurans. They made one for Egypt that became very popular. It was the first printed Quran in a high quality edition. It then spread throughout the world. The Saudis, much later, 60 years later, created their own Quran, also based on Hafs. However, Hafs also has four different versions, which conflict, and also for every kiraat you've got two transmitters, as you say now, narrators, right?
Yes.
And so Hafs and his fellow narrator don't agree, and then Hafs also has four competing versions. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, actually, I have just known this from you and Thunderous in the last
Okay.
episode. I did not know about it, but like I am used to it. I'm used to it, so
Okay.
there is no problem. But it's funny when I just look at the word riwaya in
Uh-huh.
Arabic, and I see that people never ask the question, how come the Quran is a narration? It's a narration through Hafs. It's a riwaya. So they say transmit to run from the word narrator. That's the idea, as they do with everything. So there is
Right.
fraud in every single word being translated into English.
It's a
I I,
frightening
I don't wanna
statement.
I don't wanna forget this. Do you know the word the Prophet saw, SAW, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which they have in English? Do you know
Yes.
what is this word literally? It's Allah prayed over him and then let go. Allah
Why would
prayed
Allah
over
pray
him.
over? Who's Allah praying to?
Yeah, of course, that's the $1 million question, but I'm telling you that they never
Wow.
translate it this way.
So I thought it's some sign of respect, some kind of, Muhammad, the praised one, the divine, the righteous, or whatever the case might be. I thought this was some kind of, I don't know, sign of respect
Reverence.
towards him.
Yeah,
Reverence, yeah.
yeah. No, it means Allah prayed over him and then let go. Sallam, he submitted or let go.
So what do you think the implication of that is, the context of that? And thank you very much, Catatubes, and welcome everyone. Great to have you here today.
Well, I think that Muhammad in the Quran might be referring to Jesus Christ because it means the praised one.
All
Um,
right.
so there is this level of deification, but it got lost with time. You see, as Muhammad, as I told you, turned into a separate prophet, an Arabian prophet, as good as Moses, as good as Jesus. That's what's going on.
Right. Yeah, can I show what I just showed you from the Bridges Quran translation? Because that's as well as I can do as an English speaker who doesn't speak Arabic. I want to show maybe those two examples, get your comment, and then we can dive into your material. Would that be okay?
Yes, yes, perfectly.
Okay, question. I've heard that Quran 3:146 will make people leave Islam. What is Quran 3:146?
I will look for it.
Bringing up Quran X. Here we go. So I'm going to share my screen, I guess. I'll present. So here we go. And with how many a prophet have there been a number of devoted men who fought beside him? They quailed not for aught, but befell them in the way of Allah, nor did they weaken. I don't think that I understand the question or the context, but thank you very much. Give the gospel of Jesus for she's telling everyone to support the stream. So thank you. Is this Does this mean anything to you, Murad, or or perhaps we were given the wrong verse?
Um, there is nothing critical here. I could just talk about the word ribbiyun, and it means actually in Syriac rabbi. So
Seriously,
rabbis uh, combating with the Prophet. The word qatala, I have it as combat.
that would be arguing. Then, in other words,
Possible. No combat,
possible. Okay.
physical combat.
Physical combat. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
In martial
Well,
arts, in Arabic, we call it al qital, meaning combat games or
okay.
something.
Right. So there's a question from Crusader General, and thank you, and thank you again, Catatombs, earlier. Yes, be a grain of sand. Yep, be the grain of sand that turns into the avalanche. Can Saint Murad explain for us how Muslims intellectually process the fact that the most Sahih Quran is transcribed by Hafs, who is known as the least credible scam artist with the most da'if hadiths? Any comment on that?
Yeah, I've heard some shuyukh talking about it because I thought this is like a slam dunk. Like, what will you say? So I wanted to see how they will tap dance. And they say something like, well, Hafs was very good at remembering the Quran, but very bad at remembering the Hadith. And this, of course, is a joke because you can't have a memory that's bad here and good there. It's just it's just a joke.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Um, yeah, no. Hopefully, we will finally solve this mystery. I'm busy digging into that. But yeah, I mean, look, the whole thing, the whole story doesn't make great sense. Let me close this for the moment, and I'll show the audience this then. We were discussing this just before the show. Um, so this is from Surah 24 in the Quran. What does An-Nur mean, Murad? The light, the
It's
moonlight?
light, the light, yeah.
Isn't Nur the moonlight?
I've heard this from you and I liked it, but in Arabic it only means light. But I don't know why I kind of accept that it only means the light of the moon
Because
because this is always in the Quran. The the sun has diya, but
yes,
the moon
exactly.
has
There's a
nur.
different word for sunlight, and there's a different word for moonlight.
Yes,
It's
because
always in context of moonlight. Yeah.
remember in these days they thought the earth to be flat and the light shining from the moon is different from the sun. This one is
Yes.
septic, this one is antiseptic. So also having different names for the kind of light and different attributes is not a problem. So it might be only moonlight, yeah.
Yeah, no, when I was doing the monotheism, that was the context that constantly came up. It is context of moonlight. Let me see one more question that Al-Tabri is off. That may be possible. Any comment on that before I move on to onto my comment and then your work?
Uh, to be an Ibn Mas'ud Quran man. To be honest, I don't know. I
Okay.
don't have a good answer, yeah.
Yeah. Does the Quran sound like gibberish to you as well? Is it also just as insensible as it sounds in English?
In Arabic, it sounds nice, but it is gibberish when you think of it. But it sounds
Okay.
nice
Okay.
because the author he has no problem to sound unlogical as long as it rhymes well. You know, that's the idea. That's
Okay,
the
that
Quranic
is
author.
interesting. So it's easy to remember because it rhymes then. Would that be a true statement?
It's like writing a song. The lyrics might not be perfect, but at least the ending of every sentence is the same and it sounds nice.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. That actually solves a small mystery. Okay, so Surah 24, him or her, right? This is in the Bridges Quran translation. Please see my Google archive, link in the description. There are different recitations. For instance, you get Qira'at by Nafi and Yaqub that says, May Allah's curse be upon him. Curse be upon him. Then you've got others where it says, May Allah's wrath, not curse, but anger, be upon her. And then you've got Nafi's reading, Allah's wrath will have fallen upon her. The other one is be upon, to be upon. The other one's will have fallen. So present, right, future, and then past. And so you've got, may Allah's wrath be upon her versus be upon him. So in English, this already is highly contradictory, very confusing. Is it wrath, anger, or curse? That those are already two different concepts. And then him or her, she did it versus he did it. She should be punished, he should be punished. These are problems that occur in the English. So this already is an issue. I mean, your comments on this, Murad.
Yeah, in Arabic, if you just put, let me give you one which will be a killer.
Let me
I didn't
I
prepare
can
for
show
this.
you the original here from the Bridges Quran,
Yeah,
and the Arabic is up here as well.
which verse?
Certain it should be next to each other. They should be so be upon, may Allah's curse be upon him. So it should be somewhere in this region here. So seven here,
Inna la'natullah
seven to
alayhi.
eight, 7 to 8.
Yeah. It says that the curse of Allah is over him if he was of the liars.
Yeah, and then they've got different translations which have fallen upon her, which is
Mm,
yeah, be upon. So wrath be upon her. So yeah,
mm,
these are different Arabic translations that come to say Yaqub and Nafi, and they mention others. So these are just things that we notice as English speakers. I'll do one more. This is Surah 13, Arad, the thunder, page 168 in the bridges. They speak of they were barred from the way. They were prevented from going on the way. They were barred. But then you have Nafi, Ibn Kathir, Abu Amr, Ibn Amir, and Abu Jafar read it as they barred others. So in this case, they stopped others. In this in these qiraat, they were barred from the way. Shall we have a look at the original Arabic? Would that make a difference?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at this, page 168. So they were barred. So that's the top verse here. They were barred.
yeah. وَصُدُّوا عَنِ السَّبِيلِ. In my translation, it would be something like, and they were intercepted from the way. Sadd
Okay,
is
so
intercepted. It's the exact same word as being a goalkeeper and playing football. You intercept the ball. This is sadd.
so they were so they were caught basically. Someone caught up to them, intercepted them. It's just
Yeah,
so just in English it doesn't make sense, but in Arabic it doesn't make sense either because it conflicts even in the Arabic. So it doesn't make a difference in the Arabic then.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
You know,
crazy.
there is this dagger alif, and it changes a lot of things. For example, the surah of the night journey, it says Subhanallah asra ba'abdihi layla, and abdihi is his servant. But actually, if you just put this dagger alif, it will be his servants, and that would make it the children of Israel, because this is the same context all over the Quran. You see,
Wow.
so this is one of the frauds that has been done later to make it fit to Muhammad.
Okay, that is crazy. So over to you, Muhammad. Murad. Sorry, I was. Oh, gosh, over to you, Murad. I'll let you carry on from your slides. That was my question and input because these are things that bother me too. Even in English, we have these problems.
Yeah, 1 second.
Here's a good one. Is Allah the greatest of all deceivers or planners in the Quran, according to the Arabic?
In my translation, it's schemers. Scheme
Okay,
is the best word. Yeah.
that's the word that I also came up with in when I was doing my work on that one. Allah is a deceiver.
Yeah, deceive has another word, but scheme would be the best fitting word here.
And nikah, is that taken from a niktuha, which means to have?
Hold on. I'm sharing now.
Okay.
Do you see now?
Yeah, yeah. Do you have a moment to
Okay.
have a look at this one question? So, guys, our last question, and then I want to focus on Saint Murad's presentation. Right?
Okay, can you just read it because now I can't see the screen.
Okay. Saint Murad is the word nikah, marriage, taken from anik tuha, which means to have sex.
No, no. I think nikah means marriage, and it took me a long time to reach this conclusion based on looking at this word in every single context in the Quran. Now you will tell me, then why does it mean the F word? I will tell you this comes from the sin standard Islamic narrative later, because the Persians, when they hijacked the Quran, they put these new understanding and new meanings to words. They were very vulgar. And this is something
Okay.
that maybe we can prove later, you know?
Sounds good. Yeah. Yeah. So, thanks. Over to you then.
Okay, Muslim and non Muslims alike know that almost all Quran translations are awful. The Muslim explanation for why they are this bad, they say that the original Arabic Quran is a miracle and therefore it is impossible to be translated. In this presentation, however, I will show you how Quran translators hide themselves behind that curtain and use the sin standard Islamic narrative to distort the Quran itself. Whether you are a believer in Islam or not, you certainly hate lies, especially when these lies are carefully crafted to fool you as an English speaker who does not speak Arabic. Now, the question of do we need another Quran translation? And that's everyone always asks me this question. I will tell him or her by the end of this presentation, you will be able to tell. Be aware that the mistakes I'm about to share with you are present in all Quran translations. I have divided these mistakes or scandals, as I call them, into 7 categories. One would be clumsiness or lack of detail. 2. Bible obsession. 3. Standard Islamic narrative based. 4. Just blunt mistakes. 5. Masking Quranic mistakes as if they were not there. Deception. 6. 7. Fatal mistakes. We will start with the clumsiness or lack of detail. The word am and sana, they are always translated into year. And the reality is they are two different words, and there is a subtle difference between these two words. One
Are
is
you
year.
sharing your presentation, or are you showing us the? Because at the moment you are showing us your not the presenter view, but you're showing us your own slide view.
Don't you see full screen?
No, no, you're showing us the slide view, the with the thumbnails on the left and the slides on the right. So we're not showing the full screen.
Uh, okay,
Just
let
do an
me.
Shift F5 to full screen it. Otherwise, you're showing the wrong screen.
What about now?
No, we're still seeing the thumbnails on the left. So you've got slides 1 to 6 on the left column with the small thumbnails, and then your bigger slide on the right.
Okay, I will maybe unshare and try again.
All right. Just choose the full screen option. Once you go to share screen, there's entire screen on the top right.
Okay. Okay, now?
Yes. No.
Okay. So the word am and sana are always translated into year, but the reality is there is some difference. One is year, and the other would be a year having to do with seasons. So a seasonal year, or maybe you can also say just season. This mistake shows the general linguistic ignorance of Quran translators. So this is not a scandal, but this shows you what's gonna happen next. Now there is also this word hijaj. Hijaj is hajj, meaning pilgrimage, but sometimes they have it here as years. Now why is that? Because there is something in the standard Islamic narrative telling them that hijaj here means years, which is a scam. Pixel here has it as pilgrimage, as you see. But of course, that doesn't mean that his translation is any superior. He just happens to have this one right. Now here they also these translators fail in basic math. As you can see here, the word ضعف, they have it as multiplied or double. Here is correct. But now let's see in a different context. They have it here ضعفين, meaning two doubles. They have it just as double. Wrong. It should be two doubles, which is an equal of four. ضعف is not the same as ضعفين. Of course, you can say this is not a big mistake. Well, if we deal like this with every single word, then automatically you have a flimsy, bad Quran translation, just like every other translation. So, of course, every single word is important. Now, here the dilemma of the word bid'ah, this is very important. The word bid'ah here, they have it as several. So, Joseph, he was in prison for several years. So, does it simply mean several? Let's see how they have it here when it's talking about how the Romans defeated uh, the Persians. في بضع سنين here they say within 3 to 9 years. Here they got the meaning of بضع from the Arabic dictionary, which they ignored all along. Why? To simply make the prophecy fit. They have to make it fit. What do you think of this one?
Completely different to 7. So 3 to 9. Is it actually a value, or is it just like a range, like a period of waiting of time?
It's a range, but as you can see here with Joseph, this one, the previous example, they have it as several. They here, they don't really care if it's within 3 to 9 years. But here, when it comes to making a prophecy, they have to make it fit. This is the only time where they open the Arabic dictionary. So, they pick and choose. Sometimes they choose the Arabic dictionary, sometimes they choose the sin, sometimes
Okay,
maybe a da'if hadith, anything.
so it depends on their agenda and what they want to say about that verse. Because the
It,
notes, the academic notes that I read said that every of these Quran qira'at, there are differences in theology that fits the agenda of whoever the person is that's transmitting it.
yeah, the question here is this word bid'ah is mentioned only twice in the Quran. My question to these translators,
Wow.
why
So why
aren't
change it?
why aren't you consistent? That's the question. So why here
Agreed.
from within 3 to 9 years and in the other context is several years? They do this all the time.
That's insane. You'd think, and it's the same word, the same context in both occasions.
Yeah, the question here is why didn't they do the same with this verse with Joseph? First, because they forgot. Second, because they do not care at this point. They only care when it makes the Quran seem to have stated a correct prophecy. That's what happened. Now we go to Bible obsession, and this is a section that people maybe didn't imagine that these Quran translators are obsessed with the Bible. The word habban, they have it here as grain. Correct. Habba min khardal, the same word. It should be a grain of mustard. No, they here have it as mustard seed. Why? Because in the back of their mind, they recall the word mustard seed from the Bible.
Bible. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I was just
And
thinking the exact thing.
yeah, and it should be a grain of mustard. But because they didn't create a concordance, They are doing these clumsy mistakes. You see,
And
because
also,
also
this would
they
appeal to English readers. It would be familiar to Christians. They want to appeal, don't they? And it would look wrong if they said a grain of mustard. Everyone would go, hold on, that's wrong.
exactly. They are like, we already have enough differences, and people are not converting to Islam. At least have it as mustard seed here. You know, this is how
Uh
they are
huh.
thinking. Here again, mustard seed. Remember, the word in Arabic for seed is bidra, budur. Is it a big mistake? No, but it reveals how weak of a translator they are, and that manifests itself throughout their entire translations. That's
And
the
this is
idea.
in all of these popular translations.
Every single one I have looked at, I won't tell you that I have read every single one, but let's say I have read Surah 2 in maybe 12 translations, only Surah 2. Surah 2 is very revealing. It gives you a good idea of how the translate. And Surah 1, I've read maybe 34 translations. Surah 1. Just from the Fatiha, I know what's going on. Surah
Yeah.
1.
Which is insane. They claim there's one Quran, but then, of course, there's 10 Qira'at, which started with seven, then with three added, then plus four for 14 Qira'at. Then each Qira'at had two transmitters, which means 14 times three, which is 42 versions of the Quran. And then, of course, we know Hafs has at least four versions that we know of. So, I mean, it's you're suddenly looking at 46 versions of the Quran.
Yeah, exactly. But as you see at this stage, I am saying, okay, Hafs is
Yeah,
right and it is the only Quran.
sure.
Now let's look at the translators, what they are doing. Now we move to sin based, standard Islamic narrative based. These translations are sin based. They're not based on language whatsoever.
Love the cartoon pictures.
Yeah, these are the translators. I made them into Simpsons because they are not real people, they are cartoonish. And their translations are cartoonish also. That's the idea.
Super. Yeah.
Now let's look at this word here. As you can see, you do not need to know Arabic. These are two words. جمعه وقرآنه. إن علينا جمعه وقرآنه. Meaning, indeed over us or upon us is its gathering or combination and its reading. Now let's see how they do it here. It is certainly upon us to make you memorize and recite it. They shoved this you being Muhammad when it doesn't say that in the Arabic. Why?
Not
Because the
even
sin,
contextually.
they have to stuff him in there. And as you can see here, Sahih
Wow.
International. Indeed, upon us is its collection in your heart. This is, of course, a joke. And to make it possible, its recitation. Another joke. Actually,
Wow.
calling qira'ah recitation is a joke, Lloyd, because it's only reading. Because this word is used with reading the eye, the eyes, reading the eyes, or reading between the lines. It's not recitation.
Hmm.
But this
So
word
even that is
recitation,
false.
yeah, it's only reading.
So I thought Muhammad couldn't read. So in the cave, is it recite or read?
It's
Because you
read,
see
but
different versions.
they have to put it as recite in the English to jump over the problem. But it's saying read, saying read between the lines or read, but not recite. Definitely not recite.
Crazy stuff, man. This is blowing my mind. I mean, seriously, I'm just like stunned. Like, how did they get away with this for so long? Stuff this obvious. I mean, where's the negligence here on the Western scholars, Arabic scholars, deliberate deception?
Well, Muslims in general, they have a general consensus without, I remember you talked about the Sharia and how, like every Muslim knows it's a secret and they do not discuss it in public. Here also they have this common consensus that it's okay to fool the Western people because in the end they will convert to Islam, which is good. And then we will take hasanat, which meaning something like bounty when we go to heaven. So this is also good, as if they are playing lottery. So, as I always say, their target audience is Allah, My target audience, is the people. So I'm giving them the real thing. I'm giving them the literal linguistic meaning of the Quran.
Wow. I mean, this is going to change things once it's out. Honestly.
The verse says, "Surely upon us is its combination and its reading," and the word combination also is the only one that's correct. And I have my own reasons in the concordance which I have created, because it's used with a man and his wife. You actually combine them. You do not gather. You do not muster. These are the words mentioned in the English Qurans which are wrong.
What is the
But that,
implication of
yeah.
reading? Because what if Muhammad had to read? That means Muhammad could read, which means he was reading stuff around him.
Remember the word read in Arabic, it's exactly like in English. It could mean read between the lines. I can tell you,
Okay.
did you read between the lines? Did you know the social cues that happened? Did you catch
Okay.
this?
Okay.
This is the word read in Arabic. It doesn't necessarily mean read the book.
Understood. Thank you.
And also in the story, this very story in the sin, which is read, and he says ma aqra. Actually, you can read it in another way. You could say ma aqra and add a question mark, meaning what should I read? You see, not I do not read. But they
Mm,
did not have a question mark back then. So this is also, another way of looking at it.
thing. Yeah. Wow. Seriously, man. This means everything is to be questioned. We are wrong about literally everything. It
Yes,
turns everything
everything
upside
has
down,
to
what you're
be
doing.
revised. Yeah. So as I'm showing you here, this verse is only saying, "Surely upon us is its combination and its reading," but that's not good enough for them. They must distort it and add Muhammad in there. This is the sin standard Islamic narrative manifesting like demons. This is what's going on. Now, what about Jahiliyyah? And I know you will like this one. Al Jahiliyyah al Ula, they say pre Islamic ignorance. And here, the pagan past. The text is actually saying ignorance as a state or a condition of ignorance, the first
Yes.
ignorance.
That's what I've been saying for a long time, and it's not the period; it's the condition.
Yeah, and here, the clear Quran, which is one of the most known translation, it says pre-Islamic ignorance, and it adds this footnote also. But of course, it's only the condition of ignorance. There is no pre-Islamic past. Why they do that? Because they are blinded by the sin, standard Islamic hoax. Now here, shoving Mecca in there, this is also a problem. You have Mecca all over the place when in reality is mentioned by name once in the Quran. This is the word al Qura, as you can see here, meaning the
Mhm.
mother of
Mother of.
settlements. Qarya comes from mustaqir, meaning settled in a place. Now, as you can see here, they say mother of cities, Mecca, 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 Mecca.
Yeah, I mean, that title belonged to Jerusalem, as far as I know.
Exactly, yeah. You see. So this is the standard Islamic narrative made them do it. Now here, shoving Mecca again. Here the word is Becca. I'm asking anyone on the chat, what do you hear me say now? Mecca or Becca? I say Becca. Why
Becca,
do you have it
big
here
difference.
as Mecca? One is with a B and one with an M. So they say Becca, i.e. Mecca. Huh? Why? And here, Mecca right away, as if the Arabic never said Becca, because they do not respect the reader. Despite the text saying Becca, a lot of translators just have it as Mecca because they are blinded by the sin. This hinders academic progress as it gives the false impression that we know for certainty that Mecca is Becca, which is wrong. Now, what about the Battle of Badr? Here it says, لَقَدْ نَصَرَكُمْ اللَّهُ بِبَدْرٍ. بِبَدْر, just بِبَدْر. Here they say the Battle of Badr. unapologetically adding the word battle to Badr is a classic example of Quran mistranslation. Why do they do that? Because they assume that Badr is a battle, when in reality, Badr is a certain time of the year. It's a certain phase of the moon, actually.
Yes, Murad, you're blowing my mind. Honestly, I'm every single thing you're saying. I'm like, I can't keep up. You're going so slowly and so carefully, and I'm struggling to because I'm thinking about the last thing already. You're on the next thing, but you just mentioned Becca, right? Now, when I did my monotheism talk, I came across Bakka, which was part of the Yemeni moon god religion, right? This was related to the god called Al Makka. So Bakka is a symbol related to the moon god Al Makka. Al Makka was the moon god of southern Arabia. The Yemenis spread this, and also this is the same as the Mesopotamian moon god called literally Sin, right? So now Bakka, right? Bakka in that region is actually apparently a reference to the god Bacchus, right? Now
Mm,
let me just look up the god Bacchus. Bacchus is the Roman god of wine, vegetation, fertility, festival, ritual, madness, religious ecstasy, theater, and also, you know, let's say the god of free love. Getting drunk and getting jiggy with it. With
mm,
you and the orgies. So apparently, there's you can link Bakka to the god Al Makkah, which sounds kind of like Makkah, right? And then,
yes.
but Bakka is a reference to Bacchus, the pagan god.
Mm. Well, you see, let's say someone doesn't agree with what you are saying in the chat. Why should I confine him and put him in this prison of the sin and say the battle of Badr? Why shouldn't I just say Badr and let the text breathe so that we can study further? This is why these
Right.
translations are horrible. It
So
hinders
they
academic
designed to
progress.
confuse them. They're designed to conceal, not reveal.
Yeah, they are designed to lock you into the standard Islamic narrative and not think for yourself. That's the idea. So here, the sin makes them too narcissistic to see the truth. The correct word is, of course, in my translation, as I'm telling you, Badr is a certain phase of the moon.
Yeah.
This is not the
Also,
standard Islamic. Yeah.
the Bakka symbol meant glory be to Allah, but this was a reference to Al Makkah, who was the pre-Islamic moon god of Arabia.
Mm.
And in fact, Muhammad's grandfather prayed to Al Makkah, I believe. I mean, their tribe worshipped that god, Al Makkah. So, man, this is, and then Badr. I mean, Badr is one of the names of the phases of the moon, correct?
Yes, it's a certain time in the moon. It's like the 14th night of the full moon, something along those lines. I have it exactly in my translation. To be honest, I don't remember exactly, but it's a
Right.
very specific date having to do with the phase of the moon. It has nothing to do with with a battle.
Yeah, because there's 12 phases of the moon, each has a name, and in fact, some of those are the names of pagan gods, and they're referenced in the Quran, which is wow. I mean, there's so much to
Badr,
explore
Badr,
here.
Lloyd, is it's a synonym for crescent moon, Badr itself. And in Arabic, we say if someone is very beautiful, we say he is like Badr. This is for a man or a woman. And also in 1001 Nights, the girl was called Badr al-Budur, meaning like the crescent of crescents, like the moon of moons, the most beautiful. So this is the Arabic, not the Battle of
But
Badr.
all
This
of
is
these
the joke.
references to the moon, I mean, you come back, Islam has so many deliberate references to the moon. It's insane. Also, the associations to Muhammad. He was born on the moon day, Monday. He did his first whatever crazy act on a Monday, and this happened on a Monday, and all these things happen on a Monday,
Yes.
which is the day of the moon. I mean, there's like at least a dozen things I can reference. It's in
Yes,
wow.
until today, all the mosques have the crescent moon all over its dome. So yeah, the moon thing is real.
Wow. I mean, I've covered this in monotheism, but you're just adding. you're just opening up new doors now to me. This is amazing.
Yeah, and that's really the what I want with my translation, to give you the most primitive meaning of the words so that it opens the doors. I don't want to give my opinion. I just want to open the doors for more people to look into it. That's the idea.
I mean, this is crazy, Murad. You're making me think. Honestly, you're just really just this little bit you've covered. You've blown my mind already.
I hope the people are liking it in the chat, and I ask them to like the video and to download
Yeah,
a free
guys, get your
sample.
friends on this channel. Yeah.
Now here, I want to show you that the word Badr, just to tell you in Arabic, is mentioned once in the Quran. But here, what do you see here? يوم التقى الجمعان, meaning the day when the two forces, they say forces, but Jam'an could be two groups at Starbucks. You know, having
Hmm.
them as forces is also sin, standard Islamic hoax. Here they say at Badr. They take it a step further and shove the word Badr in there when it doesn't belong. It never says Badr. It says Yawm al-Furqan. Yawm al-Furqan could be something to do with Moses, you see? But they, of course, have Badr here. Why? Because the sin standard Islamic narrative says so. Maybe Al-Tabari said this, Al-Qurtubi, these people. Now here, again, Battle of Badr and Battle of Uhud here. Do you see the Arabic? It doesn't have any reference at all.
Wow.
Zilch. But here they have Badr and Uhud.
Get away with
Of
this.
course, the English reader, when he reads, he will assume that no way, it never says this in Arabic.
Insane. How do they get away with this? How have they gotten away with this? I mean, this is negligence on a grand scale from Western academics.
Exactly. And people, when they translate the Quran, they don't look into this stuff. They don't look at other people, how they translated. They didn't create a concordance. And as we keep going in this presentation, you will see what I'm telling you.
The second time I'm seeing this, I watched your last one. I mean, I was in the chat, and now the second run through, like now, I suddenly I'm seeing so much more. Wow.
Believe me, every single word in my translation is different than what people are used to. Even the word people of the book, this stuff, this is not in my translation. It's not that accurate.
So we've all been barking up the wrong tree for all these years.
Yeah, and it has been, this tree has been planted by Abdullah Yusuf Ali, the very first translator, and people are actually copying him. They say, I made a new translation, and he's just copying this guy, and then they refine it. That's what I have seen. He is the root of almost all English translations. I see his print, his hand. I see his hand in all the translations.
I hope you sell a mint of this stuff, Murad. Honestly, this needs to be out there.
Now I wanna look at the word anfal. As you can see here, يسألونك عن الأنفال. They ask you, O Prophet, regarding the spoils of war or the bounties of war. And this is a big problem because they don't know what does this word mean. The Quran itself gives us a clue. It says here, نافلة لك. Here it's additional prayers. So it's not bounties of war as prayers. It's not the spoils of prayers, it's additional. This is the linguistic meaning. They
They're not even the
themselves know
same thing.
they're not what? Yeah, they're
They're not
not the
even the
same thing
same
at
thing.
all. But why do they say and fell? Because they are blinded by the sin, the prophet, and he, took the spoils, all this crap. But it's not linguistic. As you can see here, وَوَهَبْنَا لَهُ إِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ نَافِلَةً. And we have blessed him with Isaac and Jacob as grandson as an additional favor. Nafila is something extra. It's not spoils of war, and it could be something like leftovers. This is the word.
Wow.
Now there is there could be an Islamic objection. They could say Islamic propagandist will not like my translation of the word anfal, even though it's based on linguistics and not on the sin standard Islamic narrative. Their objection would be that anfal is different than nawafil. But this is simply false, as the difference is just that one is masculine and one is feminine. This is normal in Arabic. This doesn't change the meaning. It's just a way of saying things.
So
They,
you have made me
yeah,
think of something. You remember there's Waraka ibn Nawfal, or right?
yeah. Waraq ibn
Now,
Nufal, yeah.
yeah, I
Nufal and
can't say it
Nawafil,
right.
I didn't think of it.
So,
Nice,
so
nice.
how does this change the connection? Because there's something about this guy's name that is also linked back to Yemen and to pagan Arabia. But your thoughts on that, taking his name now as a critical part of Islam?
Well, definitely it's the same root. I don't know how that will change things, but nafila could be something like superfluous. You know this word. This is the correct.
Unnecessary, just not really important, just extra
Yes, but
detail for no
extra.
reason. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
you're right.
This is the word.
Unnecessary. Yeah, odds and ends
This is
left over.
the word. How does this change things? I don't know, but it's important that people know that Anfal is not spoils of war. This is the this is a sin. This is the extra layer that they put later. Now they are just used to it sounding different to them as they have been conditioned by years of sin. This is the translators. Even something as failed as the Arabic Wikipedia, which is very bad, knows that nafila and nafl are one and the same here. And nafila and nafl al jama nawafil, meaning ziyada, additional, something additional. That's it. You see, this is the primitive meaning of the word. Now here, the Muslim translators actually they do the same. They know that there is a masculine form and a feminine form. They have no problem. So here, ar-rukka are the ones who bow, and here another variation. Ar-raka'in are the ones who bow. You see? So nafila and nafil are the same. They mean something extra, not really necessary. Before I go into this one, I'll just ask you if you have any comments.
I am gobsmacked. It's like, I mean, my brain is just busy going, huh? Processing, trying to keep up with all of this because I'm like, what? I'm just keep thinking, what are the implications here? How does this change the narrative? And when we start to connect the dots, I'm also checking the comments, and people I think are just surprised, very surprised by all of this.
Yeah, I'm not looking at the comments. I will look at them later because they will just take me off track. But let me tell you that any word I have looked at it in the Quran in every single context. Let's say the word is mentioned 16 times, I have read it the 16 times because this will make it much easier for you to know what does this word mean. People say, well, what does this word mean? Let's go to Ibn Kathir. I tell him why. The Quran is a very big book and it has this word multiple times. Go and read them in every single context. You will most definitely get it, unless you are very stupid. Don't go to Ibn Kathir, who came much later. You see, that's what I have done with my
Ibn
translations.
Kathir came even before Hafs. I mean, why didn't they use? He's one of the earlier ones, in fact, compared to Hafs as a Kirat. You'd think now, why didn't they use him, for instance?
Yeah, I'm not
He's
sure
far better
if
known.
yeah, I'm not sure if Ibn Kathir, the one who's the of the commentary, is the same.
Yes,
Uh,
very famous. Oh, it may not
he
be the
is.
same guy. I mean,
No, he's not the same guy. I think he's not the same guy. Maybe someone can confirm in the chat. And I think
okay,
he's not the same guy. Yeah. I'm
yeah,
not
we'd have to
talking
look
about
into it.
Ibn Kathir per se. I'm just saying if I have the Quran and it has the very same word multiple times, why don't I read this in every context? Then I can glean exactly what he's trying to say. That's that's a much better approach than going to someone who came much later and from a different region and who doesn't know the language and almost definitely is a fraud also, as we know now. It's not smart. Now, what does the word wahy mean? This is very important.
Well,
The word
everyone always
wahy,
says revelation. Revelation. It's
yeah,
revelation from Allah.
exactly. But let's look here. اتبع ما أوحي إليك, what is revealed to you. And of course, they say, Prophet, maybe إليك is to you, O reader, the reader. Why are you putting me in this prison of the sin standard Islamic hoax? But anyhow, revealed, wrong. Reveal is kashafa, and it's this word is used with the Queen of Sheba revealing her legs, Lloyd, in the Quran. How did I know? Because I created a concordance. I have made my homework. Kashafa
But
is
that's not
reveal.
holy revelation. That's not revelation from Allah.
No, this word does not mean revelation. This is a joke.
So you said kashafa, right? As in
Yes,
kashif, Kashf.
yes,
Because that within, if you look through the sources, that is supposed to be the sense of revelation or the Gnostic revelation, the secret knowledge of the scholars, the kashif, which is the
yes,
mystics
exactly.
receive.
Exactly. It has to have this word reveal. It's revealing something like a secret, something that has always been hidden. This is the word reveal, kashafa. And
That's
people,
Gnostic knowledge according to the Sharia. It's Gnostic. It openly says so.
yes, I would accept it in this context. But wahi being kashf, this is a joke. It's not the same.
So, so revealed like to show or to display, accidentally or something, as opposed to, or she bared her legs. I mean, that's a completely different context.
Do you usually, is it usual for a woman to bare her legs? No. But she revealed something that you are not supposed to see. This is kashf, and this is in the
Ah,
Quran.
okay,
You
okay.
see this?
Dude, that's a whole different picture. I got images in my head,
So that's the idea. That would cancel the word reveal for wahy. Now, here, فأوحى إليهم. It should be, and he revealed to them according to their translation. That's if they are honest and do not change, do not tap dance. No, here it's signaled. Why? Because it's not Allah, so they make it signaled. Funny enough, Quran translators never maintain that Wahi is reveal either. Here they have it
Actually,
as
Sarah said
signals.
exposing, to expose her legs, to expose her something. That's a
Yeah,
good word.
that's with kashf, yeah. But here reveal, do you know reveal Wahi is the same as iha? You know what is iha? It's cues. CUE, Q. When I ask, I
Sign,
say, I say, did this girl like you? Did she give you cues? Did she give you wahi, iha'at? This
sign.
is the word.
But that's completely different context to, did Allah give you revelation? Did you receive revelation? That's totally different idea. Incredible.
Yes, it shifts the whole text into a different context. Now here, Quran translators panic because the word wahi here is mentioned with jinn. Here they found themselves facing a dilemma. The Quran says the jinn does wahi to one another. So they had
They
to
expose
forge.
themselves to each other. That's what's that's not a good look.
Yeah, at all. So they had to forge another word to be on the safe side, as you can see here, whispering or inspiring. So wahi here, according to them, is either whisper or inspire. These are the same people who told us that wahi means reveal. What should we do now? You see, they are shooting
This
themselves in the foot.
this is nuts. I mean,
But
you've just destroyed the Quran. I mean, seriously, you've already destroyed the Quran.
if they don't wanna like see the Quranic dilemma and translate it the way it is, they shouldn't make a translation because now um, I will reveal them. I will expose them. And I want to expose them to the English speaking world. I want to tell them that this is just very wrong. These people, they are fooling you to an extent that you can't imagine. Now, here, you will like this one. The word halal, what does it mean? I say lawful, but I ask, what law? Law? What is law? The word law is not in the Quran. It's never mentioned.
Everyone says, man, yeah, yeah, the law, the law, the law, the law, the Quran is the law, etc., etc. Yeah, of course.
Yes. But the Quran itself gives us a clue. If these people, they just read the Quran with the linguistic eye and not with the eye of the sin, standard Islamic hoax, they will reach the right conclusions. It says here, وَحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِّن لِسَانِي, and remove or untie the knot from my tongue. You know what does ihlil mean, Lloyd? It means loosen up. Loosen up. They did not check this word in every single context in the Quran.
So how did
So
it
now
become
it is
law?
not make so now it is not lawful. Do not make my tongue lawful. No. When the Quran says this is halal means this is loose. It's there. It's you can use it. It's free. It's a very primitive way of saying things. It's not law. There is no law. You see?
These are two completely different things.
Exactly.
They
The
had
word
to know there
halal,
were.
there is a verb for halal, which is ihlil. We see here the verb. It's not make lawful here, of course. They will have it as untie or something. The reality is make loose. We say this in Arabic till today. If we want to change a tire in the car, we say ihlil, meaning take off these knots and loosen them up. This is halal. We are making the car halal
Crazy,
now.
crazy. I mean, the fact that you can say, yeah, take my tires off, loosen the lugs on the tires or whatever. It's like you'd think, no, 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 this is about holy law and it's about the speech of Allah. And you're like, yeah, or taking your tires off.
Yeah. So here, the reason almost all Quran translations have the word lawful and unlawful in it is simply because they are obsessed with Sharia law. So they superimposed it over the Quran. Sharia came later, they superimposed it over the primitive Quran.
But that tells you
Reality
the
is,
Sharia was an agenda that was imposed.
the Sharia came later when they had a state, when they had an empire. You cannot have Sharia when you are just two or three barefooted people in the desert. You have it when you have an empire. So they have to superimpose it over the primitive Quran. That's what happened.
Wow.
Conclusion is this is another sin standard Islamic narrative obsession not found on linguistic basis. There is no linguistic basis for the word halal being lawful. There is no law in the Quran at least. Now we will shift gears to the word rajama. What does rajm mean? La rajamnak, they say stone you, and here they say stone you to death. Rajam does not mean stoning. Says who? Says them. Here, al-shaytan al-rajim. We always say al-shaytan that he is rajim. Is he stoned? No. He is expelled or cursed. So no stoning. Did this verse change anything in their mind? No. Why? Because they are blinded by the sin. And of course, in the sin, you have this verse of stoning that Umar ibn al-Khattab said, I fear that people will forget about stoning and stuff. But actually, this word rajam means expel. We will expel you out of the country or something. There is no stoning. This is a hoax. You see?
Crazy. So you've gone from expulsion to digging a hole, burying someone in it, and killing them with rocks.
Exactly. This is the sin. Again, manifesting like demons because they want to stone people. But this is
Yeesh,
not
man.
in the Quran. This is not based on language.
I mean,
Now,
what is even true in the Quran then at this point?
yeah, but if you read my translation, I know you will read it in the future. um, you will find that it has very few vocabulary. Now, why is that? Because I use the very same word all over the Quran. Because I have pinpointed it to be almost perfect, to perfectly resemble the Arabic word. But in English, they are all over the place. When you tell them why is that, they will tell you, well, it's a miracle. I cannot translate it, so you have to just take what
Trust
I
me,
have to
bro.
give you.
Trust me, bro.
Yeah, that's the idea. Now we go to the word kafir, and this is very important. This is very critical. It says here, فَلَنْ يُكْفَرُوهُ. Here, they will never be denied the reward. So, kafar here as a verb. You see, Arabic is it's kind of different from English. Arabic, the word could be a noun, an adjective, an adverb, a verb. It can have all the variations. So, if kafir means an unbeliever, then if I give you kafar as a verb, you have to give me what does it mean. It can't mean he will be an unbeliever. Just from this verse alone, you see, they say deny. Kafar as a verb is denied. This is interesting. Let's see here. نكفر عنكم سيئاتكم. Here, God is to, or Allah is talking. We will absolve or we will remove your sins. You see, Allah does takfir. Is Allah a kafir? Yes. The precise word in my translation, but as you can see, it does not mean become an infidel. Infidel has another word in Arabic. It's not unbeliever or infidel. It's something like cover up. Actually, the truth is kafir means the coverer, the one who covers the truth. This is the kafir. And here
Yeah, that's
God
the
or Allah,
context that I've always known it as. Yeah.
yeah, here Allah is covering up your sins. That's what's
So he doesn't
happening.
absolve your sins. Actually, then it can't be absolving your sins. He's
Yeah, absolve
covering
and
them.
remove.
This is
Absolve
a
and remove.
heretical Christian concept where
Absolve and remove.
you don't have your sins removed. You just have like a cover put like snow, like you have a pile of dung and you've got snow on top of it, so that you just cover the bad thing. It's just not seen because now you see the nice white thing over it. It's sauce on top of, you know, rotten food. That's
Exactly. This is exactly the word the Quran is using, cover up as a verb. We will cover up your and here sayas. The word sin is not in the Quran, Lloyd. Sayas like your guilts, your guilty deeds, not sins. The
some
Quran doesn't
crazy
know the word sin.
theology. That's some crazy theology on top of it.
Yeah, these are the kind of words you will use for criminals, and I've seen that the Quran uses like misdemeanor, guilt, crime. These are the words that the Quran uses. It doesn't use sin, and this biblical language is superimposed again. Remember, Bible obsession. This is the Bible obsession of Quran translators.
Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying this, please do like, do share, subscribe for those of you who like this content. And also, I've dropped Saint Murad's channel link several times. I've just dropped it again. Please do go to his channel after the show, subscribe to his work, and look out for his Quran translation. I mean, this is blowing my mind. But back to you, Murad.
Yeah, here, فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرُكُمْ وَاشْكُرُوا لِي وَلَا تَكْفُرُونِ. Here, Allah is talking, is saying, uh, remember me, I remember you, thank me. And here, these liars, they say, and never be ungrateful. And these say, and do not deny me. Actually, what it is saying here, and do not cover me up. Do not cover me. Again, no infidels here. But this next verse will reveal the sin standard, Islamic poison, once more. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, indeed those who disbelieve. Here we are back to the sin. Those who disbelieve. No, it's those who cover the truth. Those who covered the truth. You see? So this is kafir. Kafir is a coverer. And it's a loan word actually. Kafar, cover. When
You
we
know that
play
you
football,
make
yeah,
yeah.
when we play football, we say kura kafar, meaning the ball which is covered. in a hard covering, which is the professional one, uh, which is
Agreed.
used, at the World Cup. This is called the covered ball. You see, so
Like
we
cover
still
a
have,
sofa. You can cover a sofa as well with
yes,
seat cover. Oh my god. Murad, seriously, I'm gonna after this I'm gonna have to cry or something just to really this is insane.
yeah. But I ask people to, if they want to get my translation in the future, to download the free sample because they will be on my email. Then I can email them the translation. This is to ensure that that they are serious. They will find it also in the description, I believe.
So hold on, that's on Buy Me a Coffee, right? Let me just get there. Oh, there we go. So I'll just drop you a link on Buy Me a Coffee in the chat. So for everyone. You make me, there's this story in I did a short video on my channel. It's 2 minutes 45 seconds called Noah's Fourth Son. Because in the Bible, Noah has three sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. In the Quran, Noah has four sons, right? Ham, Shem, Yam, and Japheth, right? Now, of course, Yam is not named in the Quran, but they say that his other son was not a believer and he drowned because he stayed with the believers when the ark left. Now, Muslims are saying, oh, you're calling him Yam and his name is not in the Quran, you're a liar. I'm like, scholars later said that this is the name of Muhammad's son, Yam, right? Now, of
Mm.
course, Muhammad's wives are not named in the Quran either. So then Quranic scholars must all be telling lies about the names of Muhammad's many wives because they're not named in the Quran either, I guess. So I guess I'm in good company, right? That all Muslims are lying about the names of Muhammad's wives. But that aside, Yam turns out, just like we discussed earlier, Bakka being possibly Bacchus, pagan gods, and so on, and Anmakka, Yam is actually the pagan Arabian god of the flood. He's the god of water, and every year he starts a flood to try and take over the world from the god Baal, right? And then Baal fights him and pushes back the flood, and then he comes back again the next year. So there's this constant fight between Yam, and Yam is also part of the Arabian mythology, the pantheon within Yemen and Qatar, and even Qatar. The name Qatar falls into the Arabian pantheon of gods. So now you've got this pagan god who becomes Noah's fourth son. I mean, it's just odd that you have these strange things that get somehow added into the Quran. I mean, and Yam in Hebrew means sea, the water, but also in Arabic, they speak of Moses was put in the water in the Yam, al Yam.
Yeah, and the Quran is only mentioned Yam with the Israelite story.
Yes,
So this is very powerful, yeah.
I'm just dropping your Buy Me a Coffee link as well for everyone.
Yeah, they could just go to the shop and download the free sample if they are interested in the future to get this translation.
Thanks.
Okay, so here recognize what, and this is the 15th mistake. This upcoming mistake is shameful as it really shows how Quran translators deceive people. This verse in Arabic and the word under the microscope is يعرفونه. So here basically it's saying uh, those who were given the, let's say, book, they know it as they know their sons. So is here it says they know it, recognize it, meaning the truth or that fact. This is in the context of the Quran. What should a translator with dignity do about this verse? He should just translate it as recognize it and let the reader sense the meaning from the context. Why? Because he's an adult. But would Quran translators do that? Never. They must direct you towards their propaganda. So Quran translators, they split into three groups. One said recognize it meaning the Quran. One said recognize him meaning Muhammad, and one said recognize this. They just threw the linguistics under the bus. So here
Yeah,
يعرفونه, group one, recognize it, and then they say the Quran and also meaning Muhammad, which is a joke. It's just the truth. And here recognize this revelation.
yeah,
Now
that's
group two,
totally different objects. Yeah, subject
yeah,
object relationship. It's like Allah will curse him, Allah will curse her. Allah will be angry with him, Allah will be angry with her. Totally different.
exactly. But what they have in common is they don't want to say recognize it and be quiet. This is what they don't want to have in common. What they don't have in common. Uh, Here they say recognize him, and they say the messenger, of course, Muhammad. And here recognize him, and this guy takes it a step further, or these two guys, Muhammad as the messenger of Allah, and he keeps going on like there is no tomorrow. You see, this is group two. Group three, I call them the great escape. They say recognize this or know this, just to run away from it. You see, so this is very bad, and this is very disrespectful for the reader, and this is a grave example of trying to shove the sin in there. They want to shove either Muhammad or the Quran, but just shove anything. They just don't want to leave it plain. That's the problem.
That's completely. Just everyone for the audience, all of Muhammad's. Why am I keep? Please, I'm gonna slap myself. Hold on, Murad. I'm so sorry. I apologize. All of Murad's links are in the description box. I just went to check; they are there. So you've got a link to his Quran translation, his Buy Me a Coffee site, as well as his YouTube channel. So please use those links in the description box. Yeah, thanks. Continue, Murad.
Yeah, now we go to mistakes that are just, like the other ones that I've shown you, you could say these are mistakes based that they are brainwashed. But here we are going into mistakes, meaning that these people they do not know Arabic. What does the word asbat mean? This is a very critical word, Lloyd, because this has to do with the children of Israel. Asbat, they say here, means tribes. Wrong. Tribes is qaba'il. Qabila is tribe. Descendants is also wrong. The correct word is a very specific type of grandchildren, which will be in my Murad translation. It's not just any grandson, it's a grandson, meaning specifically a son, grandson, from your daughter. This is sibt, very critical, but they didn't take the time to look into it. They just say, no, no, tribes and descendants. This was first one. Now, this is a blunt mistake. It means that these people they do not know Arabic. أصحاب المشأمة ما أصحاب المشأمة. مشأمة they say people of the left. You see, I'm sure you know this one. People of the right, people of the left. This is funny. People of the left, companions of the left, and here this guy also. He says they will be given the record with their left hands. This is very wrong because شؤم comes from مشأمة. شؤم and مشأمة means pessimism. The companions of pessimism, not left hand. It has nothing to do with hands. But why do they have it as left hand? Ask them. I don't know. They're
You
just
know, the
programmed.
the previous one, your Jewish lineage is matrilineal. It goes down through the mother, through the wife or the
Yeah.
woman. So that's maybe the previous one. You're looking at a line that goes through the female. So that could be where that context is. I mean, this opens up new doors for inquiry and research. And why left hand? Because that's also sinister. That's the left hand, the cult, the idea, the occult. This is
Uh, I see it as clumsiness because they think they saw Maymana, so they say Maymana mash'ama, meaning right and left. That's dumb.
Shahid
May
David says that your Arabic is weak, Murad. It says,
Uh,
Mumurad, Arabic is weak, and now you're taking from him to the blind, the one eyed man is king. This is Shahid Davids, the famous Shahid Davids, who everybody knows Shahid Davids, of course.
uh, well, I think people, when they make these claims, they are just to divide and conquer so that we talk about them. So I prefer to just ignore them. You see?
Yeah, he has, but he's got a big channel. He's got exactly 0 followers. So he's a
Here,
big man in the
yeah,
community.
like Alonso Harris.
That coward. Sorry. The day
He's
Alonso
obsessed.
is willing to have that talk with me, that he's run away. She has run away twice. We set the date and waited, and they failed to appear. I wonder why.
No, he's just here to waste time, divide and conquer so that we interact with them and people don't focus on the material. That's why I never reply to these people. I just, block them on the spot. That's how I deal with them.
Yeah.
So as you see, this is mistake 17. This is just, as you see, blunt mistakes. These are people who do not know Arabic.
But you
Now
can't
here,
have this consistent level of error without it being deliberate.
yeah, of course, they are translating to get new people into Islam. Therefore, they get more bounty in the afterlife. So they are not doing a job for the reader; they are doing a job for themselves. It's narcissistic if you think about it. That's the problem.
Allah
Now
becomes
here,
their plaything.
what?
Allah just becomes their plaything. He says whatever they want. He's like a puppet. He says whatever they want him to say.
Yeah, exactly. And as you know from Sharia, that lying is good, especially if you will get new Muslims into Islam.
Right.
This one you will really like. What does the word ummah mean? The word ummah, it means nation. But here it says إن هذه أمتكم أمة واحدة, meaning this nation of yours is one. But of course, because this will maybe hint at the children of Israel and that the Quran is speaking to them, then they cannot do it this way. So here they say, this religion of yours is only one. And this only, of course, is extra from Mustafa Khattab, Clear Quran, because he's obsessed with Tawheed. And here, your religion is one religion. You see, so nation now is religion. What do you think?
Ummah.
Ummah
But
is nation, meaning someone from the nations who's not Jewish.
yeah, that's exactly that. That would be Gentiles.
Yes, exactly.
So this is unless they don't differentiate between religion and people, like say Jew, is it nationality or is it a religious description? I mean, so that is yeah, but still, I mean, this is ummah. That's no, that's wrong. I mean, this is I don't
Well,
know.
as you
See, I don't know
see,
what to
yeah,
think because you hit me with this fact and you're trying to process and I'm like, but that's wrong. And then you got to rewire your whole brain and it's just like, what do you say even? It's just like
you
you just sit there stunned.
you see, as a translator, I'm not gonna say I respect the Quran, but I respect it as long as I'm translating it, just because I'm respecting the reader. So here I will jump to other examples looking at the word ummah. So we are using the Quran. That's why I'm asking, will
Yeah,
they
it should be
withstand?
Dean.
Yeah, we are going to Deen, but now we are still with ummah. We will see what the Quran thinks of ummah. So will they withstand their position that ummah is religion? Let's see. Here it says, إن وجدنا آباءنا على أمة. Here it's a particular way or a religion. So they are still using this word.
The way, but this is what Christianity was called in the beginning. Before it was called Christianity, it was the way, which is interesting, a particular way.
Yeah, but let's look at here when all of a sudden we have the slam dunk. It says ولا طائر يطير بجناحيه إلا أمما مثلكم. Now they are stuck. because they have to make it communities, because birds can't be a religion. Here it's saying birds soaring in the
Wow.
skies are communities like yourself. So they are never religion, they are never away, and they are not also Gentiles. They are communities or nations, right? Or else you are shooting the Quran.
If
Again, here, now when it comes to Islam, then it's a nation. Now that Islam is mentioned, they quickly change it to nation. From our descendants, a nation. So Ummah here, Ummah Muslima. Now Ummah Muslima means a nation, not a religion or something. You see? This is their tap dance. Now here, this shows, especially for the guy on the chat, this shows how uh, his Quran translators are weak. This is the word imlaq, and they have it as poverty. Of course, poverty is not imlaq. Faqr is poverty, like these poor translations, and like the poor guy who has 0 subscribers who is talking now. Imlaq is not poverty. Let me give these translators a little Arabic lesson. The word comes from tamalluq, meaning fawning, seeking approval by ways of flattery. Why no one quote it? Because they don't really care. As long as the translation does not contradict the sin, they are all good. But linguistic gold nuggets like these, they do not interest them. They interest me. This is why the Murad translation is unlike anything out there. You see? Do you have a comment or should I carry on?
no, I'm just my brain is just like like just. I mean, we've got to think about what are the implications of all of these changes, because they're misleading in the Arabic, and they're even worse in the English.
Yeah, in the English there is no, uh, they are just free to do whatever they like, and no one is looking at what they're doing.
As long as
Uh,
it presents Islam in a good way. If you read the Sharia, it says that you're allowed to embellish, you're allowed to exaggerate, as long as it presents Islam in the beautiful way. It makes Islam look good. You earn
exactly.
reward.
And the whole Islamic nation has been not traumatized, but they have been under the microscope, especially after 9/11. And I remember Jay Smith, he used to say that before 9/11, they used to get beat up in Speaker's Corner. But the moment 9/11 happened is the moment where they all say Islam is a religion of peace, and then all of a sudden they are peaceful because they feel that Islam is uh, is really under the microscope, and now they are playing this. They are sissifying Islam, if you like. They are making it more liberal so that it does not die, so that it survives. And actually, this example I'm about to show you now
They're
is a very good
gaslighting
example
us.
of that. Yeah, you see this word here, بنون. أم له البنات ولكم البنون. Do you have daughters while he have sons? It is clear from this verse that Banun means sons and only sons. It cannot mean children because daughters and sons. Right? Well, not with Quran translators. Here, Al-Mal wal-Banun, wealth and children. When the very same word is mentioned here, now all of a sudden it's children. Now, why is that? Because Quran translators did not create their own concordance to precisely pinpoint every word in the Quran before translation, which led to this mess. Second, deep down inside, they know and feel the Quran to be a little aggressive for the Western mind, so they try and water it down. Third, even if they acknowledge that Banun only means sons, they will still translate it as children because they know that excluding daughters will make the Quran look more toxically masculine, and they
Mhm.
don't want that, as it will get less people to convert to Islam. That's what's happening. That's what's going on in their mind. You see?
Mhm. No, they've got to change the message. It's propaganda. It's been propagandized.
Exactly. Now, you know the story of Joseph and how the woman tried to seduce him in the Quran. I'm just looking at the word rawadatu, and they have it as seduce. Okay, seduce, will they change their mind? This very same word is mentioned here when it comes to his father. سنراود عنه أباه. Now, the word is mentioned with his father. Will they seduce his father sexually? No. What do? They say, we will try to convince his father or attempt to dissuade. Why not seduce his father? Did this open their mind that seduce is wrong from the beginning? No. You see? But of course, in my translation, I have the correct word. The correct word would be coax. Coax. I have it as coax with the woman and with the father, because this is what the word actually means. See?
Not entice.
Entice? No. A coax would be a very good word.
Folks. Okay. Okay.
Now, what does the word sarh mean? Sarh, as you can see here, uh, Pharaoh wants to go up to the God of Moses, so he has to climb a tower. Sarh is tower. Correct, as it must be high to reach the sky. The only problem is when this word sarh is mentioned in another context, they forget. So as you can see here, when the Queen of Sheba entered the sarh, it's now the palace. Why? Because they did not create a concordance and they never thought that one day I would show up to criticize their work. This is what's
You've got
going on.
you've got people like Marijn van Putten with these $2 million to study the Quran, and he doesn't find this.
Yeah, that's the problem. If you ask anyone, he will tell you, well, there are synonyms. No, there are no synonyms in the Quran. Every single word has a meaning, and you just are lazy to find the meaning. That's what's happening.
These
Synonyms
people
are a way for people to not look up and make very powerful concordance.
these are people that have staff, have money, have time, have computers, have software, have everything, resources, access, and you're like, what are they doing?
I think if you do not have the passion, then you won't do it. And I am really passionate about what I'm doing, and I love making the videos. I love talking with people. You see, so they don't have passion. They just wanna they treat it as a job. But here I'm treating this as my passion. That's the difference.
Villainous just very wisely says the millions of dollars are spent so that people don't find things.
Yeah, this is very plausible.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with him there.
Now I want to show you this one. Uh, the word araja. What does it mean? It says here يعرج فيها, and they say ascend in the sky. You see, the Quran has multiple ways of saying ascend or go up. Or anytime the translators see a word, they just say ascend, and that's it. Well, يعرج is the same as araj and a'raj. What do they all have in common? They do not know. Al-a'raj here, the Jesus is curing al-a'raj. They say the disabled or the lame. They still do not see it. They do not see a connection. But do you know what does araj mean? It means walking in a zigzag-like form. So Al-A'raj, who Jesus cured here, is walking in a zigzag-like motion because he is disabled or lame. But يعرج في السماء means climbing up a stairs because this is what has the zigzagging motion. And I think in other religions, maybe also in Christianity, is that you climb to heaven, stairs to heaven, something like
All
this. This
right.
is يعرج.
The stairway to heaven.
Yes, very critical. But they do not say it, of course. And they do not care. go up or ascend or climb anything. Anything. They do not care.
So just run this past me again, because someone's just mentioning the crooked path. So the word means
Zigzag, and a crooked would be not perfect. It's zigzagging, walking in a zigzag like motion.
okay, and the context of that would be someone is drunk, someone is going upstairs, someone is going side to side.
Yes. And someone that Jesus cured in the Quran would be someone who is walking in an unusual pattern, someone who's
Okay,
disabled. So that's
they're
the idea.
lame or crippled or something. Okay,
Yes, that's the very primitive word. It's the zigzagging motion. See?
uneven, not straight. But then in English, you could think of the context of uneven, which would be crooked. Crooked can also mean sort of uneven, not upright. It's got a, the context can also, but
Yeah, but the Quran
that's
has this word iwaj, meaning crookedness. That's why uh, I
okay,
don't use it, because I remember right at the
right.
top of my head that this word is also in the Quran. It's like if someone is old and his fingers start to get crooked. This is iwaj. This is in the Quran.
Okay. So meandering, unstable, limping.
Yeah, limping.
Okay, that's right. Yeah. I mean, man, they're just trying to take it in and trying to keep up is like just how do you, because it throws everything off. I mean, everything you thought you knew, all these verses that you thought you understood. Would staggering be a word as well?
I like the word limp. It really
Okay.
covers uh, all the meanings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, Now I will show you the word nafakha. As you can see here, it says قال انفخوا, and he ordered blow. Now, what will you do when it comes to fire? You will blow into it till it becomes red. You will not breathe into it, you will only blow. And in Arabic, we know that nafakha means blow. So it's only an exhale, it's only blow. But here, no, here's still correct. They have it as blown. So you will blow in the sur, meaning, oh, they say trumpet, but it might not be trumpet, but it's still blow. But here, when it comes to Mary, they say we breathed into her. Back to the old habits, and they have it as breathe, which is wrong, as we have established before. Nafakha is an exhale only, it's blow. You see?
Right. So they want to
This is
create
the
the breath of Allah, like the breath of life. The context they're trying to create.
exactly. So they throw the language under the bus right away.
Someone says that word nefecha is in Hebrew. It means to fart.
Ah, I don't know, but a fart is an exhale only. It's
Yeah,
a sort of is
I
an
don't know if
exhale
that's
only.
true, but that's what the comment says. But I mean
I don't
but
think
that's
so.
kind of that would be so. Yeah, they farted into Mary, and she had a kitty. That just doesn't come across very well. Oh, that's painful to think of. Oh
Yeah,
boy.
it's a bad
Oh
idea.
boy. Islam. Thanks for ruining my childhood.
Now this one you will love. The word ayah. What does ayah mean? Of course, anyone
Verse.
translates ayah
The
as verse.
verse. Yeah.
But look at this here. It says أتبنون بكل ريع آية تعبثون. It says, why do you build a landmark on every high place in vanity? And here it says a sign, meaning a symbol of wealth and stuff. Now, what can we glean from this?
Wait, hold
Such
on.
verses.
Pause a
Yeah.
second, because the word ayah also apparently translates as degree, a degree. Like
Mm,
the one who makes jihad is 100 degrees higher than the one who sits at home on the sofa, right? Snacking on
mm,
his pizza. So the
mm,
word degree, there's also a degree, a separation, a degree of separation. And then also there's the context of you the scholars are of a higher degree because of their secret knowledge. Your Freemasons have 33 degrees. There's also this concept, this idea that's embedded there, degree as well as sign.
Mm. Uh, the Quran has the word daraja, meaning degree, so it might be a synonym, but ayah, it means a sign that's tangible, and that's
Okay,
what I will show you in the next slide. This is very
okay.
critical. Such verses as the one I've shown you now should not go unnoticed, as they give us key insight into what the Quranic word actually means. Not only that, but it also excludes a lot of misunderstandings. This verse establishes three critical points. One is that ayah is that something you can build. Two is that ayah is something tangible. Three is that ayah is not a verse. I cannot build a verse on the street. This
Build your own
logical
Quran.
This logical, scientific approach is what I have done with every single word in the Quran. That's why my Quran translation is unmatched. The word ayah in the Quran is sign. Sign, physical sign, and only sign. It does not mean verse. You see, this word verse is not in the Quran.
So it's not sign as in signature, right? It's sign as in something that you see that indicates something.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why some people have it as token, but in the Quran there is rams, meaning token. So sign is the best word. So when the Quran says these are ayatullah, meaning these are the signs of God, meaning like the signs during the Exodus or the signs that God gave to Jesus. These are not verses of the Quran. This is a scam. You see, this is a sin, one of the sins.
Crazy, very crazy. Murad, it's getting to quarter to 11 p.m. for me here. I don't want to go too late.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to for us to pick this up again in a week? We can go like one or two more and then pick the rest up in a week. Would that
Okay.
be acceptable?
Okay. No problem.
Yeah. I
No
mean,
problem.
but also my mind is blown here. Just like so many. I mean, you don't even know what questions to ask because you've got to try and take all of this in. But this changes everything. It really changes. What do you expect will be the pushback? I mean, once you publish this, once it's out there, once other scholars or at least people within the YouTube community start using it, right? How are you prepared to deal with the pushback? Or maybe people want to debate you. I'm sure they'll actually just avoid you rather than actually debate you. But how would you deal with any pushback?
Well, they will say stuff like, I don't know Arabic, but then they will find that I do know, so they will say, well, he is not using the standard Islamic narrative. And then I will say, yes, I'm not using it because it's a hoax. And then maybe they will avoid me till this kind of work gets a lot of recognition. Then they will have to deal with it, and then they will be stuck. It always starts this way. Christians
Mm.
used to push them into the corner. Uh, they used to play dead. Now they have to answer the very pressing questions. And like Yasser Qadi says that there are holes in the narrative. In the future, they will say that these translations are a joke. That's what's going to happen, I guess.
Yeah, I mean because we are at the point now where we non-Muslims know the Quran and the context and the history even better than many or most Muslims do at this point. You don't see scholars going to speakers corner. You don't see scholars doing debates. You always find it's random YouTubers, but I'm also finding more and more non-Muslim scholars of Islam, who are starting to talk to the YouTubers, because I think a lot of the innovation, a lot of the research is coming from not academia, but outside of academia, people like you and me. And we are the ones at the forefront. We're the ones at the cutting edge. And we are forcing academia to pay attention to what we're finding. And we're taking academic studies that are ignored and we're making them public.
You see, in the preface of my translation, I write in the very first lines, I write that I am an amateur and that I did not study in an Islamic college. And this is a plus because this
Mm.
means that my mind is not corrupted with Islamic propaganda. They will say, well, you're an amateur. I will say, well, isn't it shameful that an amateur showed all these mistakes that you have? This is even worse. It's like the heavyweight champion and just a random schmuck from the street and he beats him up. So that's
Oh,
how I
right.
would respond to something like this.
Yeah. Do you think they would want to challenge you in a live debate, or they'd want to? Do you think there will be a response, or do you think they'll just hope they'll go quiet and just hope you go away, that no one picks up your work?
They will go quiet, and remember, a lot of Christians will also not like my work. They will think that the Quran will be much more humane or something like this. It will take time for both sides to see that I'm just trying to get the Quran back to its primitive form as much as possible. And I personally do not debate because I do not have the skill, and I'm not like CP. I'm not this kind of guy. So I won't debate, but I could make a response video if someone is saying something that's
Yeah.
logical.
Tell me, you were someone who knows Islam very well. Obviously, you've done research to a level that very few of us have, and you understand it in a way that we don't. You listen to my material. You've heard me speak. Recently, I was on a channel where someone was where a PhD professor of Islam was, to put it bluntly, lying through his teeth about Islamic history and about the Sharia. And I spoke up on the topic, and I was dismissed by the host of the stream because I didn't have a PhD. I didn't have academic qualifications. I mean, you've seen my work. You know my understanding of the Sharia. Am I presenting things accurately according to your understanding? And because this is what happens to me. I'm sure it happens to others, but this is just the nature of the game, I guess.
Yeah, of course, you are the most knowledgeable about Sharia in this field in the YouTubers and stuff because I am not good with the Sharia and I'm not good with law and legislation in general. I like language and I like history more. So yeah, if you uncover the secrets of Sharia, the dark secrets, then definitely there will be a pushback. I
Even from
think also,
Christians, like you said, even from Christians, they don't seem to like it. They think you're a biget. Villainous is
yeah,
banned on
because
that channel, and yeah. I
yeah,
mean, have you ever
because
seen
they
me misrepresent information? Have you seen me do bad translations or have bad takes from these books?
no, not really. But as you see, there is a that there is that these people they can't imagine still, even if you read the books, they can't imagine. So they say you are a bigot. That's the problem. That's the problem with the Western world in general. Actually, people who know the dangers of Islam are people who, as we say in Arabic, who touched the fire, who were touched by the fire of Islam. But just being cozy, they do not
Yeah.
imagine how bad Islam is or what does Sharia want to do when it gets power.
What do you hope for your translation to achieve? I mean, what? Because man, this is mind blowing. I'm like, my brain is just like, honestly, I didn't even know what to think. Right, my brain is just stuffed, and I'm like, I'm stunned, like a deer in the headlights kind of feeling. What do you hope to achieve? What's your best case scenario? I mean, what do you really want to see this take you, or wait to see this go?
Well, I hope that this translation would be a topic of discussion. Like once it's out and I collaborate with a lot of channels and it gets into many hands, I would like to see the people criticize it. Like, of course, people will like it, but I want other people who do not like it to criticize it. This will accelerate uh, academic progress and understanding Islam. So that's what I hope to will happen with this translation. Really, actually, the examples I showed today, these are like the minor ones. The hardcore ones will be the next time because it keeps getting better as we go into the presentation.
Just the first 5 or 6 that you did, say the first seven, just the first seven, I was already like, man, this blows a hole so big in the ship, it has to sink. You understand? Just the first few was so. I was like, this throws the whole narrative to pieces. It turns it upside down. It sinks the whole story. I mean, that's
A-
huge.
And imagine if I make another translation in the future with the Aramaic reading and with other languages in the Quran, um, and like getting all the layers, like the layers of an onion. Imagine the level of depth that we will have in the Quran, and it will really exclude the standard Islamic narrative to a big degree.
Right. So when do you plan to release? I know you've finished it apparently, but you're trying to do some marketing. So what are your what are the steps that you're going through right now, and what's your plan? When can we anticipate? And where and how can we throw you? Take my money, Murad. Take my money. Just take my money. Hold on, hang on. Just where do I just where do I swipe? Just wh- where do I? I'm trying to just take my money. You know.
Well, I thank you very much for that, and people they can do that on Buy Me a Coffee. But what I really prefer if people who are interested to actually download the freebie, the free sample, so that they are on my email list. And once I collaborate with other people, uh, I will release it through email. So,
Okay.
so let's say maximum 2 months from now, people will have the translation.
Is there any way I can bribe you for sooner than that? You and me, privately. Yeah. Um, so guys, for the audience, I know many of you are mods on other channels as well. I'm gonna try and get Murad at least onto one other channel. So for those of you who know other channels out there who would benefit from this work, let's try to get Murad onto other channels. This work is incredibly important. It is mind blowing. I think all of you are as shocked as I am. This is the second time I'm seeing it. The first time I thought it was like, wow. Now I am actually just stunned. So try to get Moran to other channels. Talk about this. Put it in the chat. Put it in the comments. Put it on social media. Speak to other channels. Speak to the mods in other channels. Speak to the hosts of other channels. I will talk to one or two and try and get Murad on to get the word out. I mean, this is one of the most important things done in this whole industry for decades. I mean, they've been lying about this for not only decades but centuries. So this has to get out there. Is there anything that we can do, that the audience can do, that would help?
Well, not really. I am very glad to talk with you today. Very happy about the opportunity, and we will continue the rest of the examples next time. The only thing I want from the audience, just download the freebie, because if I reach 1,000 subscribers or downloads for this freebie, I will release it sooner, because now I have close to 700. You see,
Okay.
so that's the only thing that I ask people. It's free. Just write an accurate email that you use, so that when I send you the link, then you are good to go.
So guys, I've dropped the link in the chat. It's in the description box. All of Murad's contacts are in the description box. So yeah, let's get to 1,000. Let's get to that magic number. Um, Sarah says wonderful content. I'm a translator and will share this with everyone. Amazing work. Yeah, I mean, I am mind blown. So yeah, no, thank you, Murad. So can't wait for the next Murad video, Maria 28. Yes, same here. So yeah, I gotta give my brain a break. You've done amazing work, right? Amazing work, and I'm sure you can defend it. I'm sure you can show, because you've demonstrated your logic, your thinking. You've spent nearly 5 years on this project. I mean, that's a long. How did you stay motivated for that long?
Well, I don't know. It's my character. I'm very strange. Like, for example, I love training at home bodybuilding while having some meditation music on. So this is I'm a weirdo. Okay, so there is a word I can think about it for a week, Maybe I'm at a bar, people are talking to me, and I'm daydreaming about a word. Let's say the word wahi. I'm daydreaming about it. So I'm obsessed.
Right.
That's why this work is the fruit of something that I really love. I am happy to do it. I'm happy to give it to the people. That's how I was motivated. I
Right.
didn't really like count the years. I just looked and like, wow, for almost 5 years, okay. But I wasn't really thinking about that. I wanted to give the people the perfect word. And actually, I'll tell you this: I can defend any single word in my translation, any word,
Yeah.
because I have looked into every single word, including animals. So is he a donkey or an ass or stuff like this? I've looked into
Right.
it deeply. Even fingers, hands, legs, it's God's shin or just his calf, this stuff. I've looked
Yeah.
deeply into this. So
Yeah.
it's not just,
Caveman.
yeah,
Sorry, not just.
it's not just like some theological stuff. No, also the body parts. Like, for example, Pharaoh in the Quran, I have it. Today we will rescue you by your torso. It's only the torso without the extremities. This is the word in the Quran, badan. You see,
Right.
other people they do not get this. They didn't look at it because badan is not the same as body. You see, very important stuff.
Right. Caveman over here says, "You both have admitted that you are not experts, yet you kept making claims that are not based on the Quran and well established scholars of Islam from years before. May Allah guide you all." And, you know, whenever we quote established scholars and they say something that Muslims find embarrassing, then suddenly those are the wrong scholars. Not those scholars, the other scholars. And then those hadiths and other records become da'if, right? It's amazing how you know we can read. Mo couldn't read, I can read, but yeah, but we've done our homework. So yeah, that's just you know yeah.
I
So
can just tell him one thing. The word "Qul huwa Allahu ahad," meaning saying that Allah is one, they differ about it. What does it mean?
yes,
They differ about it. So the very crux of Islam, Tawheed, they differ about it. So these scholars, when they know what does Islam mean, then we should look at them. But for now,
yeah.
they are so confused. Leave them alone.
And even the word Tawheed comes from the Ethiopic, which comes from the Ethiopic church. It's Tewahedo, which means the unity of Allah, the unity of God. In other words, as a Trinity.
The word
The
Tawheed
complex.
itself, the word Tawheed
Yeah.
shoots Islam because Tawheed means unification. So
Yes,
as if it's a trinity, it has to be more than two, a minimum of
yes.
three.
And it comes out of the Ethiopic language apparently. So this was a borrowing from the Ethiopic church. Remember, the Muslims spent their first hijrah. They spent 15 years in Ethiopia with the Christians, with the Tewahedo Orthodox Church.
Mm.
So the concept comes across from there. So it's actually a Christian borrowing, which is weird. The Tawhid. So yeah, so, I mean they just yeah. Anyway, they'll claim everything is naive or everything is wrong or every scholar is wrong. It's crazy. Islam is the only religion you defend by claiming that your own scriptures are weak. It's insane. So yeah, guys, it's 11 p.m. here. It's 2 hours for us. Yeah, I don't want to go too late. So work. It's a school night for me. I don't know about you, Murad, but I have school tomorrow.
Yeah,
So
uh, I have stuff also, but I try to, you know, put my best effort nonetheless.
no, that was brilliant. Geez, what am I to say to this? I mean, just this, my mind is blown. So yeah, thank you. I'll arrange with you for next week. I think the same time if that will work for you.
Yeah, that would be
Um,
nice.
yeah, looking forward to the rest, and I'll do what I can to try and get you on other channels. I'll reach out to a couple of people. So yeah, so thanks all. Thank you very much. Thanks, Murad, for coming on. Thanks you for the audience, and please share this again if you like it. Do like it. Make jihad on the like button. Sharia the content on your social media, subscribe, and also go follow up with Murad, and let's get him to 1,000. Okay, let's get this out. Thanks for the education, Murad, and we shall see you soon. Take care, everyone.